When India went to war at Kargil in 1999, the chief of an ill-equipped Indian army, General Ved Malik, famously resolved, "We'll fight with what we have." Now, 11 years down the line, the Indian Air Force faces a similar problem.
But unlike General Malik, the Air Chief P.V. Naik is kicking and screaming. He has declared 50% of his equipment obsolete. Armed with Soviet-origin missiles like the Pechora behind us, the Air Chief has warned that the situation with Indian air defense is very grim.
And the MiGs continue to be a nightmare. Doesn't speak well for India's battle readiness. If India were to be attacked today, it'll almost certainly get a bloody nose. No, this is not a reflection on the fighting spirit of India's armed forces. The reason is,
जैसे मैं कह सकता हूं आपको, अभी जो obsolescence percentage है एयरफोर्स में, वो तकरीबन 50% के आसपास होगा. Obsolescent equipment, etc., which is to be replaced.
the Air Chief has made the astonishing disclosure that the country is without credible ground-based air defense to foil enemy air attacks. It's the most glaring gap in India's defense.
Air defense. In simple word, air defense, most critical.
The alarming situation is further compounded by the obsolete Soviet-origin Pechora, Osa and Igla air defense systems completing their operational lives and getting phased out. The indigenous Trishul missile has failed and Akash air defense system is over a decade too late. This is a reality check at a time when India's neighborhood, China and Pakistan, are rapidly modernizing their air forces, which are going to be the game changers in any future conflict. And this stunning confession from the Air Force Chief comes at a time when India faces multi-front threats. India is defenseless against an enemy air attack unless it is intercepted by IAF fighter aircraft. A desperate India has turned to Israel and France for help. India is buying the Israeli Spider quick reaction missile and 8 squadrons of the revamped Akash air defense. Israel is also helping the DRDO develop the medium-range surface-to-air missile, which will have an interception range of 70 kilometers. France will co-develop a credible short-range surface-to-air missile with a range of 40 kilometers. India is hoping that these collaborations will end its helplessness. Till then, the countrymen can pray that an enemy is not tempted to launch a full-scale aerial blitzkrieg. Vishal Thapar, NewsX, New Delhi.
With the bulk of its fleet facing obsolescence, India is on the verge of signing a stunning $50 billion deal with Russia for 300 fifth-generation fighter aircraft.
So will this be a great leap forward for the Indian Air Force? Or is this a big folly which reflects poorly on India's military planning and priorities? Have a look at the 5th-generation fighter aircraft which India set its sight on.
Russia appears to be palming off substandard weapons to India for tens of billions of dollars. Earlier in the month, the Russian defense minister made it all but clear that Russian weapons are just not good enough. The Russian defense minister suggested, quote, "Our weapons often do not meet the required standards. The Russian military-industrial complex does not meet our standards, therefore we're looking at imports," unquote. But now, less than a week later, the same minister has donned the role of a principal salesman and India has succumbed to the pitch.
As per this agreement, India will receive approximately between 250 and 300 most modern FGFA, and for the next 10 years, these two projects, NTA and FGFA, will be the shining example of India-Russia defense cooperation.
So what about all that noise that Russian weapons just do not meet the international standards? The Russian minister says, no, that's not a problem.
Передо мной ряд вопросов, которые я перед ним поставил, мы возьмем на личный контроль и будем их отслеживать. Что касается вертолетов, то, насколько я понимаю, как только появится у нас контракт по поставкам, то сразу начнутся и поставки. Спасибо.
Minister Antony disclosed that mega deals for the 5th-generation fighter aircraft and the multi-role military transport aircraft will be the prime drivers for the Indo-Russian defense cooperation over the next decade. But the big question is, should India be buying arms which are not suitable for Russian forces themselves? And why should India want to be the world's largest operator of fifth-generation fighter aircraft at a time when the entire context in aerial combat is changing to unmanned aircraft? With video journalist Prashant Karmakar, this is Vishal Thapar, News.